And the girl seems nice.
She is. She has no idea what's next.
You've got actors playing actors in Babylon. How did you shape those characters and the performances?
I mean, starting by just going and watching some of the films or moments in films by people who inspired those characters. So in Brad's case, it was looking at a lot of John Gilbert stuff and some Douglas Fairbanks as well. And with Margot, it was sort of a very different kind of temperature. It was like looking at early Joan Crawford, looking at Clara Bow, looking at actresses like that just came on like hungry animals that were going to grab the camera and just make it about them. And there's this kind of fire to it that demands your attention.
I love that answer.
I often find there's this misconception that like all silent film era acting was mugging and was just super over the top and cartoonish. And it's not really true, especially once you get to 1926 and the later 20s when our movie begins. You were finding really subtle, really ahead of its time, it feels like, acting. So trying to be truthful to that, it meant actually that they could be a lot more naturalistic, even in their acting within the movie scenes.
There's such a wide array of genres in this film. What inspired that approach?
Kind of early on, it felt like the only way to do this movie is to try to capture all sort of parts of the spectrum. You got to have the highest highs and the lowest lows. That means you're going to have really broad, vulgar comedy juxtaposed with images that you would belong in like a Visconti movie. It needed to be constantly sort of surprising the audience and constantly catching it off guard.
You know what we have to do? We have to redefine the form.
Certainly a lot of the movies I love the most, a movie like Citizen Kane, is kind of a compendium of genres itself, where comedy careens into tragedy, romance careens into historical epic, and then back into bedroom farce. There's a thing that arises from that for some people maybe seems messy, but to me it's just kind of glorious. It sort of speaks to the possibilities of cinema and how kind of often we don't really plumb them to their fullest depths. Godard has that great phrase, you should put everything in a movie. And so I think trying to kind of have that kitchen sink approach, where you make a movie as though it's your last movie and you just pack everything in. It felt like for a movie about the origin of movies, that felt like not just the appropriate, but the only way really to tell this story. The maximalist, put it all on the double LP kind of approach.
Yeah!